Hello, and welcome to the 100 Stories podcast. We made a commitment as an organisation to respond constructively to the Black Lives Matter movement. This means aiming to become more diverse, more inclusive, and support more Black-owned businesses. After a brief hiatus, we have returned to continue sharing the stories of Black entrepreneurs and hearing about their experiences of prejudice and journeys to success. Okay, so we have Austin here with us today. Thank you so much for joining us. It's truly a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me.
We really want to hear your story today. And you're a man of many trades. So, Austin Okolo, full genetics student, running 2 businesses, semi-professional footballer, and has a reading club, which is amazing. And not only just this, he has won the One to Watch Award from Startup Sussex and has sold out 2 networking events, which is amazing. I don't know how I can even emphasize that enough. So, do you want to elaborate a bit more about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, thank you for having me as well. I'm really excited to be here. So, I am Austin Okolo. I run 2 businesses, one being an award-winning fashion brand called Born and Out London, which you'd already touched on, the One to Watch Awards, which I won on my 19th birthday, which was in this very building as well, which is quite cool. And something called the Gen Z Club, which I run with 2 people, one boy called Denzel, another boy called Pokey Banks, who it might be a familiar face to some. And after that, I'm also an avid reader. I've read about 50 books in the past year, so to help other people get into reading and get the benefits I have. That's why I have my own newsletter called Read with Austin. So if you want to get into reading, want to get key takeaways, book reviews, I do all that on the newsletter. So readwithaustin.com. And then I do play football. I play football for my whole life, probably since I was 8 years old. I like to say I'm quite good. But when I was younger, it was actually something I wanted to go into professionally. But as I kind of got older, I've learned that there's a lot of politics involved in it. And I just enjoy being an entrepreneur so much more. But I still play just because it keeps me fit. I love it. It's something I've always done. I can't really see myself stopping anytime soon. And yeah, I go to university also. I study genetics.
Wow. So, how is that?
It's interesting. So I am dyslexic, so I've never really been great at writing. I've never really been great at maths. So the one thing where writing didn't really matter was science, where you can, grammar you get a mark for that. So I thought that's kind of why I lean towards science. And also, it's interesting. Like I like knowing how my body works, how the world works. I like having that kind of knowledge as well. And it was really one of the subjects I was probably best at. So I thought I'll do it at uni.
That's really, really cool. So you kind of touched on your reading.
Yeah.
I want to know, what's the book you're reading this week?
Oh, good question. So I'm actually reading. It's a very, very well-known book. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People, which I'm reading quite late. And I don't really like reading books that everyone's read, but I feel like there's some books that you have to read. And I started reading that one a few days ago and I'm really enjoying it. And I've just finished Alan Sugar's book, which is quite a long read, which is really interesting.
What is that book about?
Just his life. So you could tell that he was desperate for greatness from a very young age. All the the court cases he's had, how he grew his business, what it is, how he became a billionaire, how he owned Tottenham Football Club as well. So it was a really good read.
What is like the most interesting thing you learned about Alan Sugar?
Alan Sugar, I think it was interesting because he's quite painted as a bad person. So it's interesting to see how much money he donates to charity. Like one thing, and it was interesting to see about how like with him he's quite stern and harsh, but it's always justified. So he's never like mean for no reason. He's never like authoritative for no reason. It's always justified and it's always, or from what I've read anyway, it's always worth it. So that's probably the key thing, is how like assertive he is and how much he actually cares about people. Like he just cares about the best for his business, his family, and the people he loves. So
okay, so that's the kind of approach you want in your business as well?
For me, it's all about the customers, all about giving people value and making sure people have value. Similar to him, I feel like with business, it's called customer service. So like the customers are at the forefront. Even the Gen Z events, like I didn't really get to network, but as long as other people get to network at the events, that's a win for me. So people take value from everything I do. I'm grateful.
Yeah, no, it's actually amazing. And one of the questions we wanted to ask you
Yeah.
is, you do all these things. We want to know, what does your day-to-day look like?
Yeah.
Because you're doing uni, then you're doing something else. Like, what is time management like for you?
It's crazy. Like no 2 days are the same, honestly.
Yeah.
But and I was thinking even the other day, like, how do I actually do it? I was even saying, like, I had the exam like before my event, so like the event started at 6. I had the exam at 4 for an hour, so I had to quickly do my exam. And I just sat back thinking, and then in Nottingham as well, a new city. And the next day I went to a network event the following day. So it was like, how do I do it? And what I would say, I think there isn't one answer, but there's quite a few things I feel like aid it. So one, I feel like I got to start the books. I'll be honest, like the books is definitely what's helped me. Like a lot of the skills I had to put into my life in terms of building habits, in terms of managing my time, has come from me reading books that are built to help teach you those things. So that's why I'm so passionate about reading, because a lot of the knowledge I have doesn't come from me, it's come from what I've read for like £5-10, you know what I'm saying? So that's why. So I'll start there, is learning how to manage your time first of all. So things that I do is like I plan my weeks weekly. So every Sunday, not daily, weekly. So like when you plan daily, you can't really cram everything all in one day. And you don't really know when you got time for other things. So when you plan weekly, it's like, okay, cool, Monday's quite busy, I can move this on Wednesday because Wednesday's more free. I know what my week looks like. And if emergency pops up or something I've got to do urgency pops up, I can move this to Tuesday because I know that Tuesday's not as busy, kind of thing.
Right, yeah.
So it's planning weekly, and also it's dealing with the tasks before they become urgent. So I feel like, for example, my exam, there's a 24-hour deadline. So you got 24 hours to do it, and when you start, you got an hour to do it. Right. If I waited until like 3 o'clock to do it the next day when I was due an hour later, now as pork, and now it becomes urgent. But me doing it the second that it was set, 4 o'clock when it opened, doing it straight away, I got that out the way straight away, so I could focus on my weekend, on the event kind of stuff. So it's doing tasks that are important before they become urgent. That way you're not firefighting. You're kind of stopping a fire before it even happens.
Yeah. No. That is so important. And I think that is like one of the most valuable skills you can have, like timekeeping, like knowing what to prioritize and things like that. But no, that's super impressive. Yeah. But it's great to like also kind of hear that, you know, for you, learning is also seems to be like very important to you, like constantly learning new strategies, new ways to like manage your time. And I guess doing the number of things you do, you kind of end up learning to do that anyway. Like it becomes a must. So no, that's amazing.
Could I quickly just add on a few to the time management as well?
Yeah, go for it.
Which is quite important. So one, I feel like you got to enjoy it as well. You got to enjoy what you do.
Yeah.
I feel like because I generally enjoy running my businesses, I enjoy playing football, all that stuff. So like it isn't really a burden. Maybe uni, I got to show a bit of discipline to do that stuff. But and that's like anything, you got to have discipline, and that, which is a muscle which you can build if you actually do these things. But like you want to do things to enjoy it that way. It doesn't really feel like you're working that hard. It just feels like you're having fun. So that's a key one. And I feel like the last one that I want to say, which I feel like I've just forgotten, but I think those are the two main ones. Also no, I forgot.
Nah, I get that, but you know, if you remember, bring it back up. Cool. It's fine. So let's talk more about your businesses. Okay. So what is the story behind Born to Stand Out and Gen Z Club? What kind of inspired you to create them?
So I've always been quite entrepreneurial growing up. I was like, I know everyone says I was that guy in school selling different things, not so much sweets. I did do a bit of that, but I was saying like, I did do a bit of that, but also like selling my old clothes. So my first item I saw was my football boots, my old football boots. My friend for £10. I'm just so happy. I probably underpriced them, but when I did that, I thought, well, like, because my parents used to go to America, used to bring back loads of clothing, and when your parents buy you clothing, like, it's not always the clothes that you want to wear. So I would sell it, or I was quite into my fashion, so I'd buy clothes, and similar to what people do on Depop today. So I'd buy clothes, sell it, and make money selling clothes. And when I'd run out of clothes, I would sell my friends' clothes and take commission on it. I've always been quite entrepreneurial, and I've always been into my fashion and dressing to, you know, impress kind of thing. And by my prom, year 11, I wore an all-white suit.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay.
And then my year 13, I didn't tell anyone I wasn't aware. It was a secret. Like people would say, "Oh, wait, what colour are you wearing?" I said, "No, I just wait and see." Yeah. Okay. And my year 13 I wore like traditional African attire.
Okay, cool. What part of Africa are you from?
So my parents are from Nigeria, Igbo. So there's Yoruba, which everyone knows about, and there's another tribe called Igbo, and that's where my parents were from.
Okay, that's really cool. Does that like inspire a lot of kind of aspects of your business, or how you might run a business?
Massively. I've actually gone back there to give out T-shirts a few years ago on Christmas Day, which was really, really interesting. That stemmed from me going there as a kid, and my friends my cousins had a charity called Shirts Off My Back, and when I went there and I saw them give out shirts to the kids, so they planned it before going. We all knew because Nigeria, like I got cousins in America, so it was like a lovely trip with all my family come together in Nigeria, where in a village my parents grew up in. So my parents grew up quite poor in a village in Ila called Ila. So when he went there, it is poverty. So when he went there with the t-shirts, it was a mind blowing to see these kids just so fascinated by a t-shirt. Like you come from London where we like, if it's not like brand or designer, like no one cares about it, whereas these kids were getting shirts that say like soccer, or like say like a school that they never heard of, but we just love the t-shirt so much. I feel like that picture I never forgot of, that the kids smiling so much when they got their t-shirt. I thought I got to go back a few years later, so I made sure that I bought about 50 shirts for my business to Nigeria when I went back 2019, and I did the same thing. So that was special. I feel like a lot of things I do is to kind of give back to where my parents grew up in and kind of aid development there.
Yeah, definitely.
Like one of my dreams is to go back there and build a school like teachers trade, so they can actually start like having skills so they can, you know, help them come out of poverty there.
No,
so,
that's amazing. Yeah, for sure. Like these are one of the things you have to also think about when you are an entrepreneur. Like, are you going to give back? Like, how do you want to give back?
Yeah.
And again, like so much of how we come to be as entrepreneurs, it comes from our life experiences, like what we see. And no, that's really cool. Actually, I wanted to also ask, like, why Born to Stand Out? Why is that the name of your clothing brand?
Yeah, cool. So just to clean the story then. Which will all tie together. Yeah. So when I was about year 11, I had a friend who posted something on his Instagram page, and I was like, what on earth is this? I couldn't believe it. And I asked him, like, what is that? He says, oh, my fashion brand. I was like, what? You got a fashion brand? That's so cool. And I was like, how did you do it? And he told me a process sounded so long in my head. I was like 16 at the time. I was like, okay, cool, I'm not doing that. Then that kind of image always stayed in my mind. And I feel like it was more out of fun. Like I didn't really care about the money. I just thought it'll be fun. Like with me, I was always down to do new things. I love doing stuff. I love trying stuff. I love selling this and that, like selling on eBay, all that kind of stuff. So I thought, it'll just be fun.
Yeah.
So so when I was about year 13, I had a conversation with my cousin who's a bit older than me, and I said that I really want to start a fashion brand, but there's a lot of people that have one. I don't know whether I should go for it or not. And he said that it's not about how many people are doing it. It's about how you stand out in a crowded market. And when he said that, I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, like you're right. I'm gonna go for it and be different. So because I wanted to be different, I wanted to have impact and value. I wanted to be a brand name a brand in general that actually had a deep message behind it. So you got your Gucci, your Louis Vuittons are all great brands, but there's no real deep message behind it. Whereas me, I wanted people to wear my clothing and feel good. So I wanted a name that could kind of show that. So I thought like Born to Win, all that kind of stuff. But eventually I thought of Born to Stand Out as well. I thought that kind of goes inside with my character as well, of standing out, being unique. So that's how the name came about, Born to Stand Out London, and the rest is history.
Yeah, I mean, what about Gen Z Club? So what's
Gen Z Club? So that's really interesting. So it's some person I follow called Gary V. He's like my idol. I love him so much. You should check him out. And he's always, when you're in like entrepreneurship marketing, you want to do the latest platforms. And he was talking about TikTok for so long. And they were saying, guess on TikTok right now, like it will do like numbers for but a few years ago no one was really on it, but he was saying get on it, like do not miss opportunity. And I miss opportunity. But I've seen friends, I don't know if you guys know a person called Poku Banks, who I work with.
No, I don't think so.
He's got about 300,000 followers on TikTok.
Oh, okay.
But he and he literally took the opportunity of TikTok, and you know, right now he's not celebrity, but he's doing quite well for himself. So I thought, wow, I really missed out on TikTok, let me not miss out again. So I jumped on Clubhouse. I thought, Clubhouse is a new platform right now. I need to be on here. So, I tested out the waters a little bit. And then I thought, all right, cool. I want to be consistent on here because I feel like I got quite a lot of value that I want to share. So I want to be consistent. And I asked two of my friends if they wouldn't mind do like a weekly kind of show with me on Clubhouse. One of them said no, he's too busy. Right. The other one said that he's actually thinking of doing the same thing under something called the Gen Z. I was like his dream, or whatever. And I was like, if you want, we can coast together. I was like, cool, I'm down. But I just thought as, you know, Clubhouse rooms, grow my personal brand, all that stuff. So we actually started doing it, and our first room was so good. Like we used to get like 100 people in our rooms, like just us two.
Oh wow!
We'll get like a special guest. So every week we have a new special guest, and it'll be quite, because I've got a decent network, so we have some great special guests. One time we had like the craziest room ever. We probably got 2 new special guests because there were so many egos and they started arguing.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But every single week for like from January all the way up until like I would say May, every single Wednesday we'll have a room with a special guest, and they'll be like, 100 people in the room, 50 people in the room each and every time. In the audience listening, a special guest, we get like 100 followers every single time as well. So we did that for months and months and months and grew a community on Clubhouse and then eventually on our Instagram. There are a lot of people saying that they want to have like an event, like they want an event to meet all the people they met on Clubhouse. So me and Denzel thought, yeah, that'd be a really good idea. So we just went through it in London, August 13th, through our first event. That one was ridiculous. Sold out in about 2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, that you wouldn't have even expected that. Like,
of course.
It's a nice surprise, right?
Yeah, definitely. So I feel like there we saw the vision and the potential of it. So we thought, let's make this into a company and let's keep growing it. And we had our second event in Nottingham, which was nice one, a new city, just on Friday, which also went really well. So
no, that's really cool. Do you think you'll hold another one at any point?
Yeah, we're gonna do another in January.
Oh, I'm coming to that one. That'll be
please.
amazing.
Yeah,
We'll definitely
really, really good.
Yeah, so we've spoken a lot about a lot of amazing achievements that you've sort of like been able to accumulate in such a short period of time, and you're so early in your career as well, considering you're still a student. So we kind of want to know more about what are some of your hurdles. So for 100 Stories, as much as we love hearing about your achievements, we also want to understand, like, what is it like when it comes to the challenges you experience, particularly being a young black man owning a business. And also you mentioned you have dyslexia. So what are the kind of challenges you've really come to have to like learn to handle? Yeah,
there's definitely been challenges. I feel like that's very important to speak about these things as well, because it's not sunshine and rainbow. Life is hard. Like, pain is a part of life, and you got to learn to deal with it. So in terms of the big hurdles, probably starting in school, I feel like my A-levels was a massive one. I feel like, because I didn't get diagnosed for dyslexia until I was 19.
Right.
So in school, I really struggled to like finish exams, and the school I went to wasn't a particularly great school either. They weren't very supportive. So when I was struggling, I never really got the support that I really felt like I needed. So I had to work really, really hard in school to make sure I actually got my A-levels. Yeah. And I feel like I faced a lot of battles with teachers, all that kind of stuff. And I feel like from that experience, I learned, that not every battle's worth fighting. Sometimes it's just best to just walk away. And I feel like in school, that was one lesson I learned early in my life, where not all battles are actually worth fighting. So that was my first probably hurdle of like going through school with dyslexia without knowing I was dyslexic and having hurdles and not understanding why I had them until later. In terms of as a black man, I'll say when I was growing my brand, I never really want to give it a face because I was scared that being a young black man from London as well, people just have the stereotype that it's not this, it's not that. So I feel like it was always hard for me to kind of show the person behind the brand on the actual page. I've started doing it a bit more now after a lot of market experts tell me I got to do it. So I've started doing it a bit more now, and I've learned that people don't actually care as much as I thought it did. And if anything, the posts that do the best are the ones that have my face in it, even the Gen Z Club, because it's a relatable figure, something they can relate to.
Exactly.
So definitely, I feel like that was more of a mental hurdle. But I feel like I said to you last week as well, like on the phone, in terms of as an entrepreneur, because I kind of work for myself in that sense, I haven't really felt any real discrimination regarding that sense. So maybe in other areas of my life, but regarding entrepreneurship, not so much, because it's very few people can actually discriminate towards me. And to be fair, there are a lot of opportunities for black men, like the award that I won. I'm a black man, I won that award. So I've gotten quite a lot of support from a lot of people regarding being a young businessman. So I can't really complain in that sense. So
No, I can definitely understand the hesitation, because unconscious bias is massive, and we end up also unconsciously believing those things because that's sort of what's put out in society. And you putting your face out there, of course, it's a massive hurdle for you, but it's definitely, again, it's inspiring, because that gives your brand a specific like angle where never mind from a business point of view, but from a personal point of view, you're more inclined to want to buy from someone that looks like you or has gone through similar experiences to you. And especially now, I think, like, say for example, me being a South Asian woman, if I see a clothing brand or something I just really like, for example, I love incense. Like I have so many different like types of incense, and I never really thought so hard about who would be making them, because I think I always assumed they probably come from Asia in some parts. But like on Instagram, I saw this brand, and then I saw the family that run it, and they were like, British, South Asian people that were running this company, and it made me want to keep buying their products because I was like, they can relate to me, whether if this is just a simple business transaction for them, but to me it's like I'm supporting you and the role you play in an industry that perhaps, you know, I'm not too sure about what the makeup is, but you know, it's going to be one of them things where, in particularly like in fashion and stuff, you don't often see black business owners or black designers or you know, so it is amazing that you've took that step. And people are going to feel like, okay, so Austin's doing it, I want to do it. And again, like it's important to have that diversity
really
in all industries that I think a lot of the time that's not really been pushed for yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we also noticed like with Born to Stand Out, there's a lot of like, I guess, feelings of self-awareness and self-belief. That seems to be like a common theme, the overtone of your brand. Could you tell us more about it?
Yeah, that's one thing I love about the brand as well, especially now with my new design I've brought in. Like, I feel like when you wear the clothing, it's impossible not to get noticed. Like, I get customers telling me that, oh my god, I wore your tracks today. Everyone's asking where I got it from. I love that, because it means that the vision's actually working and you actually are standing out. So the whole point of all our clothing is to stand out. So in terms of the self-belief aspect of it, in terms of like, I want a clothing that makes you feel good and like, you know, like you can feel like you stand out in it and have got the belief that I can dress well, I can look how I want to look, I can, you know, I don't really care about the opinions of others. I'm going to wear what I want to wear. And I feel like that kind of transcends to life in general. I feel like no matter what you want to achieve, you got to have the belief to do it. I was saying the other day, I had a talk at the university, and I was saying, and people asked for tips on marketing and stuff like that, and I was saying we can do all these tips, but do this on TikTok, do that on TikTok. And if you don't have the self-belief to go out and do it, then there's no point. You don't have the confidence to go out and do it. You could have the best business plan in the whole world, but if you ain't got the actual confidence to actually, you know, go out there and implement it, then it doesn't matter. Same with football. Like, I say the same thing with football. If you can have all the ability in the world, you might be able to do a great shot, but if you ain't got the confidence or the belief to take that shot, then there's no point. 100%. So I think that's really key. And also self-awareness. Like, in the day, there's only so many things we're good at, which is a good thing and a bad thing. I read in a book called The Defining Decade, How to Master Your 20s or something like that. And it was saying how a lot of young people feel like they've got so many options, they get overwhelmed, but realistically speaking, you don't. Like, what do you actually enjoy? There's probably a few things that you actually enjoy and focus around those things. So a few things that you're actually good at and focus around those things. So I feel like self-awareness is so key, so you can actually tap into what you're good at, and that way you'll face less resistance. So, for example, I know that I'm not the best singer, so like I'll stay away from that kind of thing. So you focus on what you're good at, and one quote I love is "Do what you do best and delegate the rest," and that's how you really grow a team. Well, a team and people come together to achieve a common goal, and you'll go a lot farther. There's one saying if you want to go fast, you go by yourself. If you want to go far, you go as a team. So I'd say definitely having the self-awareness to understand what do you like, what do I want to do for the rest of my life, what do I enjoy, regardless of what anybody else thinks, and what am I actually good at. So what skills do I have here that can actually help push me and support me to achieve what I want to achieve, and then just the self-belief to go out and then do it.
And do you feel like in general that businesses emphasize self-belief and self-awareness? And I think I'm speaking more from the position of like how diversity inclusion in particular has become a big issue, particularly since the Black Lives Matter movement in the summer. Do you think more of an effort has been sort of made to sort of address the self-awareness? And I guess also support self-belief for like Black entrepreneurs and people of colour that might be going into business spaces, because still I would say if we're looking statistically, again, it's still a very white space. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I definitely think like there needs to be done. I feel like we got to attack the root cause of things. I feel like a lot of Black people haven't been loved. They don't know what it's like to be actually loved and appreciated and love themselves. I love being Black, which is why you see a lot of Black people struggling with self-hate. So I feel like businesses aren't doing enough to make you feel like I feel like they might do things to increase sales or you show that they care, but they're not doing enough to actually make Black people feel like they are great and are special, which they are. So I feel like in that sense that definitely needs to be improved. And even I was at talk the other day, we'll talk about this in an event. I was saying how that guy that's on TikTok that does the thing where he doesn't talk, but just does that.
Which one's that?
Like, he's literally the most famous person on TikTok right now. Like he just does this.
Does he eat stuff, or am I just getting
eat it? But like he's like he'll stitch a video and then he'll be like something stupid, like somebody trying to mess around with a water bottle. And he'll like show you how to do a water bottle. I'll just do that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That guy, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love that video.
So it was at the event, we'll talk about it, about how, like, you know, as a black person, he's done really well. And then someone said that, oh yeah, he's like the black Mr. Bean. And then somebody kind of had a little, not like a dispute or anything, nothing serious, but he's saying that kind of unconscious bias, say a black Mr. Bean. Why does it need to be a black Mr. Bean? Why can't you just be him?
Yeah.
Why is it always a white person that we're comparing ourselves to? I feel like that stems from, you know, us not really being loved, appreciated, and not being seen great on our own.
Yeah.
I feel like it all starts there at the root, and then when that comes, everything else will get a lot easier.
I think even still, I think a lot of trends that a lot of brands often steal from, you know, it was created by a black creator or a black artist, and we've seen this time and time again. And I think that lack of addressing the origins of an idea, again, kind of undermines how strong black culture is in terms of how it has become a lot more, I guess, mainstream in how businesses are operating, how they talk about diversity and inclusion, jumping on trends that are, especially on something like TikTok, like a lot of those trends come from black creators.
Exactly.
So I think like there is not enough being done, especially when you're thinking about a big company like TikTok and how they've sort of not really addressed issues surrounding race on that app, and I think that's been a reoccurring issue.
Yeah.
And I think it just makes me wonder if like businesses kind of have that same approach where, you know, an issue comes up related to race that's affecting, I guess, even just structurally, like if you're recruiting and stuff and you don't want tokenism, you want to actually see it in your system.
Yeah, 100%.
But no, it's just a very important point to sort of like kind of understand like how integral it is to just make sure you're addressing things and not kind of like brushing it to the side and not amplifying people's voices and stuff like that. And I think your brand conveys that. It literally says that, like, Born to Stand Out isn't just words on a t-shirt. It's like, it's about how that makes you feel. And for many of your black customers that will wear it, you know, they deserve to sort of, they're allowed to, they're supposed to be visible in society, right? It's not just about the color of your skin. It's also like, these are people that are achieving and they're doing great. Like, you can't just take something from them because they have that in themselves, right?
I agree.
So what are your thoughts on what businesses could do to sort of address how black-owned businesses are supported?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I feel like maybe they should care about us like they care about other things as well. So, for example, Instagram, like, if you post something about COVID-19, you get flagged up straight away by Instagram. But when there's racism on the app, apparently they can't see it. When there's a million people commenting monkey emojis on a fabulous picture, they can't flag that up, but they can flag up when you speak about COVID-19 and stuff like that. So it's about maybe putting black people in positions where they can actually make an impact. But it's difficult as well because even said at the event is where when you get to these positions now and you're surrounded by so many white people, it's hard to really, you know, like, we're all human. It's hard to really make a drive for change when you're around so many different people. So like it's really difficult. But in the end of the day, I feel like we do need to have some sort of ownership. I feel like when you look at things like Chinatown, like they got their own community. I feel like black people maybe need to build our own community where we can support each other. But if we can ask other people to support us as well, we gotta make sure that we support each other and come together. And there's a lot of us as well. And we can, if we really did come together, you could create so much impact if all the black people support all the businesses, and not just support, but being good businesses as well, not just supporting for the sake of they're black, being good black businesses and help each other along the way. I feel like that's maybe comes from self-hate, which isn't our fault, but that's a very real issue right now where we're not being as supportive of each other as we can be. And then when we see that kind of forces put the pressure on other companies to actually be supportive of us as well, because they see that we're not going to be played with no more, and we can start our own Instagram, for example, and you know.
For sure. Do you think like the events that you run are also kind of there to do that, like kind of bring communities together, like black community members together? Yeah, like
being a black founder, like I would love to employ black people as well, so that, you know, actually directly giving impact. So that's why it's important that you chase your dreams, you strive for excellence, so that you can actually, one thing that my friend said was learn, earn, return. So I feel like when you kind of apply that and then you learn from people around you, that you earn, get your bag, whatever, then you actually return that and give back to the people. I feel like when we kind of put that into the black community, it's only like the limits to that are crazy. All the other limits.
So what does the future hold for you? What are your future plans?
Change the world.
Change the world.
Yeah, no, I just future plans. I don't know, like just be the best version of myself that I can be. To be honest, like I just want most important thing to me is happiness. That's all I really care about. As long as I'm happy, I'm happy. Like as long as I'm happy, like I'm grateful. So as long as I keep doing things that I do enjoy, the people around me stay healthy. That's the plan. And then I've got goals in terms of what I want to give back to the future. But one thing that I always say a lot is legacy. I really want to leave a legacy. I want to live not just for me, my kids as well, where when I die, I will be remembered. For like one thing that I learned in philosophy, which I studied for A-level, which is very random.
Yeah.
One thing my teacher taught me, because philosophy is a deep subject, like it was very deep.
Of course.
And he said something one time where he said that when you die, and everybody ever knows you dies, all your Instagram followers, Facebook friends, unless you become somebody, or literally like you never existed, there's people that pass away, and everybody that know that's known that person has died, that person technically never existed, because there's no literally any evidence that he existed. So I feel like I don't want that to happen to me. I want to be able to leave something that will live far longer than me, so I can remember when I do pass away. I don't want to cease to exist. Make my mark on the world.
Yeah, no, that is amazing. I think that is one of them things where it's about purpose, right? It's about purpose, not just in the present, but in the future. And you want people to sort of continue that message and know that you want to ignite something, right? It's not just about leaving a mark, but you want it to continue.
Yeah.
Right? But no, it's great to know that you have that kind of ethos, because I think as someone like you, where you're doing amazing stuff already, it kind of, it's that sort of energy is going to transpire and like go into other people that also will be like, yeah, you're right. Like it's about leaving your mark. It's sort of like about having that self-belief and kind of, I guess, that will transcend and go into other people and other communities. And no, it's honestly amazing to hear all that. So our last question is, are there any last words or advice that you would like to give to young entrepreneurs like yourself?
Yeah, I've got loads.
Go for it. List them.
But I'll probably say like just make sure you do it for the right reasons. Don't do it because you think it's cool. Like have the self-awareness and do it because you actually enjoy it, because it's gonna get really tough. Like that's just anything in life. Like the reason why I want to do things you enjoy is because when it gets tough, you can still do it. If you do something you don't enjoy, when it gets rough, you'll just quit. So like if you do something that you actually enjoy, when it does get hard times do come, you will fight through it because you just generally enjoy what you do. So I'll say for entrepreneurs, start there, but then don't finish there. I feel like one thing that I've read in a book, that's the thing, I've read so many books, like I constantly quote them, but it's called Ego's the Enemy. And have that ego to know that, do not have that ego, so like don't think that because you're passionate that will work. You got actually acquire knowledge, you got to understand that it will take a lot of years to grow. Like don't think in a year, 2 years, 3 years you'll just be a Jeff Bezos. That's not how it works. So drop your ego and actually go out there and ask questions, learn. I remember when I did that, I was messaging so many clothing brands saying how he's a manufacturer, how do you do this? So I say definitely do what you enjoy, start off with, but then drop your ego and actually go out there and learn and never stop learning, and then keep going. That's what I'd say.
That's amazing. For sure. It's all about like not letting your pride and ego take the better of you, right? It will definitely stop you from being the best version of yourself. And I think it can also affect like how you give back, right? You want to give back in a way that's like ego-free, pride-free. It's just all about giving where you can and sort of cultivating a community that does that. And it's not all about what you do for yourself as well. It's like how are you supporting others whilst also nurturing yourself as well. But yeah, so that's the end of our podcast episode.
Amazing.
Thank you so much, Austin, for joining us today. And yeah, we'll see you at the next one. This has been 100 Stories.